Go ahead.
All right, everybody, welcome into the Southern Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Drew and Steve. It's going to be a really short episode today, but we're going to do sort of the best we can with it. I guess we're just going to talk about really the Auburn and Alabama games today. We got Alabama facing off against Mississippi State in a must-win game to sort of, lock things up for a Iron Bowl head-to-head for the SEC West, and Auburn's in the same situation. So, and Auburn faces Georgia, of course, in the Deep South's oldest rivalry. So what are your thoughts on the Alabama game, Drew?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that the teams that have had success against Alabama have proven that in order to do that, you have to have really good play out of your quarterback. I look for Mississippi State to try to do some things similar to what, the type of game plan that Ole Miss had. A lot of those mid-range passing plays, trying to get outside the pocket, but at the end of the day, trying to be as non-biased as possible. I just don't think they have the athletes and ability to get that job done. I'm a little bit turned off, I think, by the job that that Dan Mullen's done over there this year. I think it's certainly a disappointing season for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The only thing is it's an early game for Alabama. We've got a little bit of a history this year of coming out the gate sluggish.
Right.
That being said, I look for the 240-pound running back for the Crimson Tide to really carry the weight of the day. And I think, honestly, I think Saban's game plan and Kiffin's game plan is just going to be to pound it down the field, the whole day. So, I'm excited. I think it's, I don't think things are going to get out of hand, but I think, 37 to 10,
Yeah,
37 to
38 10. That's what I was thinking.
Somewhere in there. I do look for, I'd like to see us, really, really tighten up the secondary coverage this week. I think that's where we've struggled a little bit, is giving up the big plays. I'd like to see us get that locked down, especially coming into the last big game of the year at the Iron Bowl. But then potentially looking towards an SEC championship and potential playoff berth. I think there's still some things that we've got to shore up, especially if we are anticipating potentially seeing a team like a Michigan, who is, or a Washington, which scares me even more because of their offense.
Right.
So I'm excited to also watch that game later tonight and maybe get a preview of somebody we may see shortly. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good SEC game to start the day off. A little bit bummed out that, we're pulling the 11 o'clock breakfast shift, but that being said, it means that we got a perfect excuse to start drinking, champagne at 9 in the morning. So, obviously we're planning on, hopefully we'll wrap things up quick with Mississippi State and we can all get out and get situated somewhere to watch the South's oldest rivalry. So obviously I'd love to get, want to hear your thoughts as far as what we think, is going to go on between the hedges today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I heard an amazing stat this morning. You know that Georgia has yet to beat an FBS opponent at home this year? That's
God.
Tremendous. I mean, that's just unfathomable. I've been saying all year that Kirby Smart's in over his head. However, that being said, we've got some really key injuries on the Auburn side. Sean White didn't play the first half last week. Obviously, we sort of covered that. And Cam Petway, it looks like he maybe tore a quad, maybe pulled a quad. We don't really know what happened there. But he had a breakaway run to sort of ice the game against Vanderbilt and just got slowed up in the middle of the field for no reason on a non-contact injury. So, those sort of tend to be the most dangerous ones, the ones you don't see coming. But, I mean, they're going to, they've got a committee of backs and they've got some guys that can play tailback like Stanton Truitt, who's normally a wide receiver, but, he can run between the tackles if he has to. But we obviously, Auburn people really hope to see Cam Petway out there today.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think he is, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the start of the season, he was listed as the number 3 running back.
Cam Petway, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's correct. And maybe even been further down than that, had we not had the transfers. So,
my goodness. What an athlete. I mean, that dude,
right, yeah.
It's scary how similar he runs. When he's running in between the tackles, he looks like a Bo Jackson.
Yeah. No, you're right. I talked to a coworker earlier this week, and I guess the most apt comparison to him, in recent years is Mark Ingram. In his sophomore year, they've got similar builds. I think Petway's a little bit taller, but they're very thick and deceptively fast. Both of them are. But
So,
I mean, I'm sorry.
you
Go
know,
ahead.
I was going to say one question I've got for you though is with today's matchup, one thing that I was, kind of mulling over is the one advantage that I think Georgia has is, Kirby Smart's used to seeing this Malzahn system. I mean,
Yes,
how did,
yeah,
and he's had years to study it at Alabama. He's probably dreaming about this game, as in his mind, a legitimate shot to win. I mean, how do you, as the Auburn coaching staff, how do you come out? What's your plan to make sure that they don't get any momentum early?
Well, what I think they're going to do is sort of, try to throw them off balance, similar to what they did against Arkansas with wide receiver reverses, stuff like that. But I mean, I've got to say that I think Kirby's going to be anticipating that, so it's sort of a chess match, I guess. So, but I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to do some. I think they're going to have to go over the top early with this. Honestly, I mean, assuming Sean White can go at full speed.
Sure. Which what are reports coming out of Auburn today? Does it look like that's a possibility? Or?
Yeah, no, he's going to start, but I'm just talking about his his health overall, his ability to execute the full playbook like he was 2-3 weeks ago, against Ole Miss and Arkansas and things like that. But like you said, both teams are prohibitive favorites today. Assuming we both get the win, it's going to be a hell of a showdown here in a couple of weeks in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great way to finish the year. I mean, I think this is what the true fans, not all the sidewalk alum. I think this is what the true Alabama and Auburn fans really want is for both teams to go in to that game with what that rivalry is supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be who determines the SEC West winner and who goes to Atlanta.
Right.
And I think
you're right. I mean, they're the two historically best programs in that division, and that's sort of what what everybody had in mind when they went to the divisions and the conference championship game and everything like that. So it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of stuff at stake in that game.
Yeah, it's going to be certainly going to be a good way to finish out the year strong in the for the SEC West. I mean, again, some good teams. I mean, another matchup today. Number 24, 25 LSU and Arkansas. Always tends to be a really good game. I mean, I think Bielema has got some stuff to prove. Orgeron's trying to really cement, getting that head coaching job going into the 17 season. So there's some good football to be had today. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got some, big matchup with Michigan and Iowa in Iowa. That one, I tempted to call Iowa, thinking that they might actually get up and do something this week, but. Speaking of getting up and doing something, what you've got to give me your take on this whole the whole Colin Kaepernick current state of the protest going on.
Oh, good grief! Okay, so for everybody that doesn't know, I mean, of course you know about Kaepernick doing he did the sitting down for the national anthem, then he switched to kneeling for fear of offending, veterans and whatnot. But he did, everybody knows that the election was this week. And of course Donald Trump won, and Kaepernick, for some reason came out publicly and said just out of the blue that he did not vote. Everybody around the country has been sort of bashing him for it, and this was his sort of, he's protesting. He says social injustice, police brutality, all this other stuff. But this was his chance to make a difference, and he just, didn't. He was just like, it's not worth my time, basically.
For all the people who thought that his methods, he has this. Hopefully, this gets it through to the people who were on board with Kaepernick. In my opinion, this is why he's so ineffective in what he's doing and is so disconnected. Because you just said it, you hit the nail on the head. He had a chance to be a public figure and say, "All right, everybody who is in support of me, go to the voting polls."
Right.
Vote for who, I'm assuming Clinton
probably,
whatever. But, fact of the matter is, he could have finally used his position to actually do something productive for society and, yet again, screws the pooch. Honestly, man, I still, I said it in the beginning, I think with this guy, I think what it is somebody struggling for some media attention and some airplay because let's be honest. He ain't no starting quarterback.
No, clearly not. He sucks. He's completing about 53% of his passes. Trust me, I've watched every miserable snap of it. And he's going to be probably out of the league in the next couple of years. He's maybe a quality backup, but his football career has absolutely gone down the toilet. Without Jim Harbaugh there calling the plays in San Francisco. So I don't. It seems like that's sort of where it went awry for him because before he would just he would go out there, ball out, play football, play great football actually. And I don't know, he's lost a lot of weight too. So that's hampered his football game. I don't know. It's one of the more actually one of the more fascinating stories as far as like a fall from grace. I mean, he was a Super Bowl quarterback 4 years ago, and now he can't. He can't even win a game. It's just. I don't know. It's something to behold for sure.
Well, I think you already said it. I mean, it's because he doesn't have those other tools. He doesn't have the Harbaughs there to, or whatever. I mean, that's just.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. I mean, of course, his supporting cast isn't what it was 4 years ago either. They had one of the best defenses in the NFL at that time. But,
true.
And of course, we want to give a big shout out to all the veterans that are listening. My grandfather included, who fought in Korea. He was actually a medic in Korea. We want to definitely tip our hats to those guys. They've been doing tributes all day on ESPN so far.
Yeah, we had actually, down here in Tuscaloosa last night, we did a charity event where we were able to partner up with a huge shout out to our friends over at Alcove Tavern down here in Tuscaloosa. They were kind enough to host us, and we did an event where proceeds from beer and the food truck from Local Roots was going to the Wounded Warrior Project. So just an amazing chance to really, to give back to the people that so oftentimes sacrifice everything for, so that people like you and me can sit here and talk about football on a Saturday morning.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? And so Colin Kaepernick has the right to kneel or sit for the national anthem. That's one of the other things too.
So before we finish out, I gotta ask you, there's a lot of turmoil, and I know that people have emotional connections to stuff. And I was just really moved by a story that you shared with me in the NFL this week of with Cassius Marsh. I mean, I just I feel so bad that this guy has lost his Magic the Gathering card collection.
Good God, man! I mean, it is. He actually took to Twitter, before, I guess I'm assuming he made a police report about the stolen merchandise. But he said, his girlfriend was in a yoga class, I believe is what it was. And he had 12 very valuable packs of Magic the Gathering cards stolen from his car. And according to him, he's reached out to the Seattle Seahawks fan base because it was in that area to sort of help him locate the cards as if they're going to go door to door looking for them. I don't really know.
Gosh, man, I think they will. I mean, I think the Seattle fan base clearly is going to be moved and touched by just the tragedy of this situation, and I think that they will stop at nothing less but to catch the perpetrator and bring this person to justice,
right,
and get these Magic cards back. Because, I mean, gosh, next to Dungeons and Dragons, there's nothing.
I
feel so bad.
According to Cassius Marsh, and this is a direct quote from him per Twitter, but next to God, his family, and football, Magic the Gathering is the most important thing in his life. So
yeah, it seems like that seems right. When you're prioritizing everything,
right, yeah.
Clearly Magic the Gathering should be first.
Right, yeah. More than friends or, his values or anything. It's more important than all that stuff. That's,
Well, let me ask you this. If one of the Seattle, and seriously, dear Seattle Seahawks fans that I know all of you listen to the show, please, y'all go out, find these cards. But let me ask you, do you think that if somebody finds them, they get the number 4 spot and the cards drop to number 5?
I don't know. That would be up to Cassius, I guess. I don't know. But okay. So for those that are curious, he lost this is just breathtaking. He lost a Legacy Elf card, a Legacy Goblin card, and a modern Abzan Company card. So, those are among the most valuable, apparently. But valuable meaning in terms of the game, not like actually monetary. Nobody's going to pay for that crap. But
Again, it just shows you the state of our country, man. We can't. You can't. It's a sad day in America when you can't even leave your
man.
The Gathering.
Right? You used to, you could leave your doors unlocked at your house and you wouldn't have to worry about anybody stealing your stuff. But now, they'll steal your Magic the Gathering cards.
So so what do you think the criminal did? Let's paint this picture, right? So he's like walking down the street, he sees this car, and he's like, jackpot, Magic the Gathering. Yeah. I've been looking for these. Now I can finally make some real money. He breaks in, he steals the cards, he gets to the pawn shop, I'm guessing.
Well, there are still trading card shops around, so probably one of those.
Oh, okay. Well, that seems more legit then. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and also it was in, and also they were in his $60,000 Land Rover Discovery, so I can't imagine that was the most valuable thing in the vehicle. I don't know.
I hope it was two criminals. I hope one of them was like,
yeah.
Should we steal the car? No.
Yeah. No, man.
It's not worth enough. It's not worth enough. Get the magic cards.
Yeah. I know times are tight and stuff like that, and I play Madden Ultimate Team Football sometimes, but geez, man, if you got to steal, maybe $10 worth of Magic the Gathering cards, I don't know.
I can only imagine they busted in and one of them just jackpot.
Right, yeah. It was probably, honestly, I think it was probably kids, like maybe, like middle schoolers or something, hooligans.
Well, we're definitely not going to make out with any girls this year. Let's go steal some Magic cards.
Oh, no, definitely. Honestly, even him being a football player, I'm surprised he actually has a girlfriend to be in the yoga class or whatever.
Jeez.
If he's playing Magic the Gathering at probably in his mid-20s or so.
Oh, I know.
Yes. Anyway.
Idiot.
All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add, or are you good?
Roll Tide.
All right. We're going to give you a big War Eagle on that, and hope you guys have a great day watching the games. And again, big shout out to our veterans. War Eagle.
Roll Tide. Cheers.
All right.